Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. Now, of course, I am Michael. Hi, hello. And today I want to talk about something that comes up a lot, whether it's in articles or in YouTube videos or even sometimes in conversation. So it's sort of the top of the mind for folks who are maybe some ways away from retirement, like myself, but also for those folks who are near retirement or even at retirement, which is looking at ways that they can bump up their Social Security retirement benefits. So this could be Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability SSDI, as well as Social Security survivors, and really all the other iterations of Social Security. Now, one of the biggest reasons why this is so important is because wherever your Social Security benefits checks are at, when you first start getting your benefits, it is basically destiny for how much money you're going to get for the rest of your life, with a few exceptions. So that means that even if you can just bump up those benefits by maybe just $10 a month or even $100 a month over your lifetime, especially with the cost of living adjustments or the COLA every single year, it'll literally end up putting thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars into your pocket over your lifespan. So today we are talking about a couple of ways that you can increase your Social Security benefits checks with some suggestions for what you can do if you are a good amount away from your retirement, what you can do if you are pretty close to retirement, and what you can do if you are just about to retire. Now, before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, or hey, if you at least find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel to grow, and we are super thankful for that. But also, you get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now, let's get down to the video. So first, to better understand how to bring one's Social Security benefits up, it's important to understand at least the generalities of how Social Security benefits are calculated, because it's not just simply paid in for the minimum amount of time and then you get them. First, there is a minimum amount of time and amount that has to be contributed to qualify for Social Security benefits. For most people, you would need to have paid into Social Security for a minimum of 10 years or 40 quarters. Now, they don't all have to be consecutive. You can have had years off and then come back to it. But in totality, you need to have a minimum of 40 quarters. Each of those quarters only count if you have worked and paid into Social Security tax. That's what comes out of your paycheck via a payroll tax. It's part of the reason why there is a big difference oftentimes in the amount that you get paid from what actually goes into your pocket at the end of the month. It's because of these taxes. So even though it is kind of a bummer to be taxed, that is true, it is that amount that really determines how much benefits you get when you start claiming your Social Security benefits. Now, speaking of earnings, although the minimum amount of time that you have to work is 10 years in total, when your Social Security benefits are calculated, they will typically use the top 35 years of earnings in the calculations of your benefits. So if you work less than 35 years, then it could actually really dramatically decrease your Social Security benefits. Lastly, and one of the biggest differentiations for how much you get on your Social Security benefits is when you decide to take those benefits. Now, there's various reasons why folks retire when they do, but retiring early will usually bring down your Social Security benefits, and retiring later, in general, will bring them up. So that is a bird's eye view of how your Social Security benefits are calculated. They are based off how long you work, how much you paid into Social Security during those years that you were working, and when you decide to retire. Now let's talk about what you can do to get that Social Security benefit up. Obviously, like anything, an ounce of prevention is always going to be worth a pound of the cure. And when it comes to Social Security, the same situation kind of applies. The earlier that you can focus on increasing your Social Security benefits, the better it's going to be. Of course, assuming the program is still going to be solvent by the time you get there. Good luck, millennials. Me too, right? Anyway, so the first way you can get that Social Security benefit up is actually pretty easy. Just work more. Now, I know it seems like the more you work, the more taxes come out, and that is true, but in the long run, those increased earnings will mean a higher Social Security benefit when you actually retire. Because Social Security relies on the top 35 earning years, if you are like most of us, those early years when you were working, well, you got paid pretty meager amounts. So the more that you work during those prime earning years, it's going to start to offset those earlier years that really bring down your average Social Security benefit. Just as a fun fact, in case you were curious, there is an actual max amount that you can earn to be added into Social Security. So it's the point where you don't gain any higher Social Security benefits from paying into Social Security. And for 2023, that income amount is at $147,000 a year in income. But of course, to get the maximum Social Security benefit, you would have had to have that or the equivalent of it for the last 35 years. Also, if you are wondering what your earnings are on the Social Security's records, if you go to the Social Security website and register for a quote-unquote My SSA account, you can actually see what Social Security has your income down for each of the years for your entire working history. In addition to that, it's going to have an estimated Social Security benefit that you'll be eligible for when you actually reach your full retirement age, or even if you wait until 70. So I would really encourage you to create the account because it is super interesting to see what your benefits will be and how much you made over the last 35 years. That's kind of a nostalgia thing. But also, if they have the numbers incorrect, you want to make sure that you get those corrected so that you do get the correct benefit amounts when you retire. Now, for those folks who are in a situation where maybe they're on deck to retire, you're near or at retirement age, then the easiest way that you can bring up your Social Security benefit is going to look differently from those folks who have a lot of years in between them and retirement, primarily because you don't have that additional 10 to 20 years more to pay into Social Security. But there are still some ways to boost up your benefits. One of those other criteria for defining how much Social Security benefits are going to be, aside from how much you pay in and for how long, is also when you decide to start taking your Social Security benefits. And this is kind of a big decision for those folks who are, let's say, within striking distance of retirement age, because it is possible to retire early and start taking your Social Security payments as early as 62 years old. But if you do this, you actually end up getting punished by Social Security. In fact, they reduce your full retirement benefit by as much as 30%, which can be a real big hit to somebody's benefit in the year that you retire. But also, for every subsequent year, your benefits are adjusted based off that initial lower number. For an example of this, in 2023, the average Social Security benefits for a retired worker is at $1,834.80 a month. That is the average according to Social Security. But if someone had decided to retire earlier at 62 rather than at their full retirement age, it would reduce that amount down by 30%, or $550.44, which would bring that monthly benefit down to $1,284.36 a month. Furthermore, to make matters worse, when that Social Security cost of living adjustment, or COLA, comes around at the very beginning of every year, the increase, it will still be the same percentage that everybody else gets, but it's going to be a lot less in dollars than what you would have gotten if you didn't retire early. To put that in numbers, this last year, the COLA for retirees was an 8.7% increase in benefits, which, if it was the same for this year, hypothetically, in this example, at the full amount of $1,834.80, the average check for the average worker, that increase would be $159.63 increase monthly for a person's Social Security benefit. But if that person retired early at 62 and those benefits were 30% lower at $1,284.36, then that same 8.7% would only mean an increase of $111.74 per month. So basically, you lose $47 a month each month for the rest of the year, and your check starts to lose ground against the full retirement benefit that you could have potentially gotten in perpetuity. Now, while that is bad, the good thing about all this is the exact inverse of this is true as well. So if you wait later to retire, it would do all those things that happen if you retire earlier, but in reverse. Because if you do wait and retire at the latest possible age at 70 years old, it would add an additional 30%, so making it 130%, or $550.44 to somebody's benefit, and bring that average benefit starting up to $2,385.24, at which point the COLA would add an additional $207.55 monthly to a benefit. And again, growing with compound interest into the future. So in short, if you are at the point you could retire and you have a spouse who is going to retire, you may want to consider the possibility of waiting to retire until you are 70, because it will mean a decent amount more in Social Security benefits for your spouse, but also that will carry over into Social Security survivors benefits once they are gone. So just something important to consider. Lastly, for those folks who are already retired, this is where the options to bring up your Social Security benefits get pretty limited, honestly. Mainly because since you are already in the program, you can't really increase the amount you pay into the system, and you can't really wait to retire since you are already retired. But there are a couple of things to consider. One is that if you have Social Security benefits that is small, and maybe you didn't work enough time, or maybe you had to take care of children, or maybe you're living out of the country, whatever the reason is, but if you have a partner who is eligible for Social Security or soon will be, you may consider getting married or registering as a domestic partner, because it is possible that spousal benefits for Social Security benefits could be higher than what you are currently already entitled to. So it does sound a bit strange, but there are partners out there who just never really think about the benefits of getting married, at least for Social Security purposes. Also, there's other great reasons to get married, but that's kind of outside the scope of the video. Anyways, back to the point. Spouses are able to claim up to 50% of the higher earning spouse's benefits, even if they didn't pay into the system as much. This plays out in the numbers when we go back to the Social Security data, where we can see that the average spousal benefits are at $896.70 a month. So even though it is 50% of the primary spouse's benefits, it still may be higher than what you're already getting. I think one final option we are going to talk about to increase your Social Security benefits is pretty straightforward. And we already have another video about this. I'll put a link up here for that. But also consider where you are living. This is because some states still tax Social Security benefits or a portion of these at the state level. And for the most recent tax year, states like Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, and Vermont all did that. So if you live in one of these states, you may be able to consider moving to a state that doesn't tax those Social Security benefits or taxes at a lower rate. And that could put a couple of those extra benefit dollars back into your pocket. So it won't actually raise your Social Security benefit, but it'll decrease the amount that gets taken away. Overall, like I said, the best way to get your Social Security benefits up is to focus on contributing as much as you can early on, so you can get the higher 35-year average that could bring the Social Security benefit up for the entirety of your golden years. But also, if you are just kind of now looking at what you can do, there are still a couple other things that you can do that'll help you bring those costs up and to ensure that you get the most out of your Social Security benefits that you can. All right, so that's it for today's Michael's Matter, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, if you found it interesting, if you found it helpful, hey, if you found it useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel grow, and we are super thankful for that. But also, you get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So, for Michael's Matters, I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy